What is up, guys? Sophie here, back with another topic. If you are new to my channel, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated on my content. And also don't forget to check the description box because I always put a lot of stuff in there, such as related content that I mention here and also my products. So what we're going to be talking about today that are traits in a woman that tend to genuinely attract men, okay? Because I think a lot of women tend to go wrong and a lot of women tend to put on a facade or a mask, or they do things that are not themselves that they think will attract men, and then they wonder why it is repelling men, because women tend to believe that being over sexualized, being over flirtatious, being over aggressive, being over, very hookup culture, wanting to sleep with everybody, that these are the things that will attract men, and that's just simply not true. It really comes down to very simplistic things. So why don't we go ahead and get into it? Have some mystery about yourself, and I don't even know if I can say mystery more as just don't give all of yourself away and who you are in the first take. One of the biggest mistakes that women have is that they just simply have diarrhea of the mouth. If they go on a first date, second date, third date, they just spill and spill and spill about everything, every ex-boyfriend, everything in life, just everything. And even I know that some women will try to overcompensate who they are. If they're on a date, they'll be like, well, I'm the type of woman that'll do this. I'm the type of woman that'll do that. I'm a type of woman that'll do that. Okay, but you don't need to say that, right? At the end of the day, if you are that type of woman, then allow him to discover that through dating you. You date somebody, if you just spill out everything on the first or the second or the third dates, and the guy walks away and feels like, okay, I just know everything about this person, and now I feel like I'm going to get bored going forward because there's not anything else to discover, then they're not going to want to continuously date you again. Allow a man to I don't want to make it into a game and say they have to work hard to get to know you, because that's not true, but allow them to put forth some more effort to get to know you. Don't make it so easy in the sense that everybody you meet, you just spill out your life story like a book and you spill out everything about yourself, and then they're just on the date and you just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked and they have said nothing. So I'm actually going to tell you a true story of a thing that I used to do, and this is going to sound so weird, but this is just something minute, right? So oftentimes if I would go out on a date with a guy and we were at a restaurant, and this was never planned, like I'm not that deep, right? And so I like to sing. And so if we were at a restaurant and they would have karaoke, I would tell the guy, like, oh my goodness, I'm going to sing karaoke. And mind you, I would never have probably told them that I like to sing up to this point, right? And they would be like, well, what do you mean? They would think that I'm going to embarrass myself. So I would get the book, I would pick out a song that I know I'm really good at, and I would just be like, yeah, I'm going to just go up there and sing. And he'd be like, well, what if you do a bad job? What if they laugh at you? And I'm like, no, I'm just going to go. And then I go up there and then I actually do well in karaoke, and they are completely mind blown. And it's not because it's like, oh, you have done karaoke and this is just such a daredevil thing. It's because I have now had some air of mystery to me, and I'm not bragging on myself, because anywhere prior to that, I could have been like, well, take me on a date to a karaoke bar. Let me go do karaoke so I can do karaoke and impress you. The thing about it is the mystery, in the sense that you have some type of thing about you that you didn't necessarily feel to brag about. So I think a lot of the times as women, you have to be humble. Don't continue to brag on yourself. Don't barf out everything about yourself. Allow him to talk, be quiet, and hold back some mystery about yourself, so that when they find these little things about yourself, they can actually be pleasantly surprised, right? Because karaoke wasn't that big of a deal. But the fact that some guys I had been dating for months and all this type of stuff, and I went up there and did it, because I've done this a few times, that it's kind of like, wow, that's a pleasant surprise that she has something that I really didn't know about her, and now I'm really impressed. So that brings me to have hidden talents or goals. Once again, this is something that men can get to know you. They earn that when they get to know you, right? And so, for example, I remember when I was dating a guy, but what he did was that he Googled me. Don't make the mistake to think that guys are not stalkers, because they are, right? But in the interim of him Googling me, he found my LinkedIn and he found my blog. And then I remember I did decide to go out on another date with him, and he opened up and told me that he found my blog and some of my YouTube stuff and all that type of stuff. And then he was like, it actually made me like you more. So why is that? Because when I was going out on dates with him, I wasn't on a date talking about, oh, I write blogs and I do YouTube videos and I do this and I have a book and it's not like that, right? Because this is something that they have to, once again, kind of like the air of mystery, that they have to get to know. They find out little wonderful things about how goal oriented you are, or about things that are very private or personal to you, by simply putting in more effort to get to know you. Now, with him, he decided to go on the internet and Google me, but still that required time and that required effort, because what he was trying to do, not only was he trying to find out a little bit more about me, but he was trying to probably find out ways to impress me. But see, that's the thing, because if everything comes so easy and you give yourself so easy, and I'm not talking about like sex, right? What I'm talking about is just throwing yourself out there like a piece of meat and they can just grab you and pick you up, then it kind of takes the fun out of getting to know somebody. But when if they're dating you and as you date, then it's something fun and it's something interesting and new and dynamic, and they find out, oh, you want to be an author, or oh, you have goals to be an entrepreneur, or oh, you're working this 9-to-5 job right now so that you can save up money so that you can travel the world or something. These are little things that kind of give them more incentive to want to get to know you, because if they say, oh, if I'm just now finding this out about her, what else does she have? And it also shows that there's some evolution to your personality, in the sense that they're not going to get bored with who you are because you have other things happening. And this is another true story, is that I write music. I don't know if you guys know that. And I have some of my music on my YouTube channel, but I don't always open up with that or lead with that, right? And so I had been dating a guy for a few months, and I remember it was after the restaurant. We were sitting in his car and we were getting ready to go home. And he was like, well, I don't want to go home yet. He was like, what's some things that I don't know about Sophia? What's some things I don't know about Sophia? What's something really different about you? And then I had my music on my phone. And so I was like, oh, why don't we play my music on my phone? And so he plugged it up to the car and then he played it. And I remember him being so impressed. But I think the thing is, if you're able to show a guy that you have hobbies, that you have goals, that you have things that are ever changing about yourself, that you have things that you want to pursue outside of yourself or on your own, and as you date them, then you start to reveal those things, then it definitely has some intriguing aspect to it. It is more, they'll get more intrigued by it, right? Because the fact of the matter is, looking like an Instagram model, or looking very beautiful, or looking, that's just not enough, right? There are so many beautiful women out here. There are so many women who kind of look the same, and just putting yourself into that Build-A-Bear bot thing of Instagram, of looking like an Instagram model or looking like everybody else, that doesn't really make you stand out, because everybody else kind of imitates that look or whatever. But when you have hidden things about yourself that men feel like they can't traditionally find very easily within other people, then that is actually what can make them more attracted to you. Which brings me to the third one: be different and not cookie cutter. This is in personality and this is in dress. So the reason why I'm able to attract men, and I'm not saying that I am the creme de la creme or the most beautiful person in the world, because the fact of the matter is I'm not. I'm a black, dark-skinned woman, and I am short. I am not super skinny. I don't have no problem with it, but really, I am not the standard of beauty. That's what I'm trying to say, right? But the point is that, I tend to attract men from all different races and men from all different ages. That doesn't make me special, but the reason why I have noticed on why that is because I ain't afraid to be myself. If y'all haven't watched my videos by now and you don't know that I'm not afraid to be myself, and that my personality doesn't necessarily fit into the stereotypical girly type of role, in the sense that, I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm not trying to be over girly. I'm not trying to imitate any other woman. I don't dress like any other woman. I dress for myself. I dress to what I like. I have my personality and I'm very consistent with that. A lot of people say, oh, when you start to date somebody, people tend to put on a facade, or they tend to put forward the best version of themselves. No, I'm me all day, every day. And my personality is the same all day, every day. First date, second date, third date, fourth date. And so really, and the reason why men tend to get intrigued by that is simply because it's different. Simply because, like I said, you can find a whole bunch of women trying to do be the same type of thing, being the same type of person, acting the same type of way, and it gets redundant because they're all just, clones of one another, right? But it takes a special type of woman to say, yeah, I'm completely comfortable with who I am. I'm confident with who I am. This is how I like to dress. You have your own way of dressing that makes you feel confident. I have my own way of doing my hair that makes me feel confident. It really don't, like, I do these things within myself for myself, and it really doesn't have anything to do with men. But the point is that men tend to see that and they tend to respect it because it's something like, it's just because it's different. You have to find the unique characteristics about your own personality that you're willing to embrace and not like push away from. Now, there's just certain things that I should probably say that you shouldn't do. Like, you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm at a restaurant and I just like being free and I like to burp and fart at the table. Like, that's not what we're talking about here. And so I'm not talking about those type of things, but I'm talking about, for me, I love playing video games. I will sit and, like, even I have dated men and we will sit and play video games together, and it is fun. I make it fun because this is something that I enjoy. I don't care that other women don't like that. I like that, and therefore I do that. Men tend to be very attracted to that, not because it's just video games, but because I'm comfortable not being within the norm, and the norm is so easy to find. And therefore, when you find something that is not within the norm, it makes him feel like he has found something, different and special. So find those unique attributes about yourself that are different, and don't necessarily feel like I have to stomp them into the ground. Find a way to showcase them, because I believe that you should. Another thing that I like to do is I like to play Texas Hold'em poker. I will like to watch the poker tournaments. They tend to like that as well. So they'll be like, oh, you play poker? What do you know about that? And then we'll play, and then I'll dust you. And then they're like, wait, wow, this is kind of attractive. And so, but that's just because it's different and you don't necessarily see that often. So don't try to fit in with everybody else. Try to fit out and show those unique things so that he can feel like, oh, wow, I have something really unique and I have something really rare. And it's not like what everybody else is or what everybody else has. The last one that I'm going to mention is to be nice. I think that women underestimate being nice. And I think a lot of the times women are not nice and they're not really aware that they're not nice. Like, with my natural personality, and I'm not trying to make this all about me, but I'm just saying because, I'm doing the video. But with my natural personality, if I am at a restaurant, no matter if I'm on a date or I'm by myself, I will always say please. I will always say thank you, just because it's a very polite thing to do. I've been a waitress before. I know what that's like, right? I try not to be over aggressive or over abrasive. And I think some women can mistake that for, telling a man what you need, when really it can come across as just being mean. Like, if you are out on a date with a guy and you are too impatient with your food, or you're not very nice to the waitress, or I have seen women that's like, if the food is not to their exact specifications, they're like, well, we can send this back, even if it's what they ordered. I have seen women order something off the menu and it's like they don't even know what it is, and then the chef prepares it according to the menu, and they're like, well, I didn't know what I was ordering. I don't want this. I don't like how it tastes. Send it back. See, all of that is just not attractive. It shows that you're picky. It shows that you're aggressive, and it shows that you have now made a mistake, and now you're willing to push it on to other people, and now you're inconveniencing the waitress, and you're inconveniencing the cook who has done what you asked them to do, and now you're becoming very upset and abrasive. I have seen that a lot with women just when I am out and about at restaurants. I have seen people that feel that, oh, just because I'm on a date and somebody is waiting on me, that this gives me the right to be mean to wait staff or talk to people any type of way. It doesn't. Or be impatient. What's taking them so long? Why is this? It doesn't. Or when you are talking to a man, for you to just be really aggressive. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for this. And if you're trying to waste my time, then you need to go. None of that is nice. And all of that is very annoying. It is very attractive when you meet a woman that is just nice. And I say that just because that's one of the compliments that I have gotten whenever I went out with men. And I remember a guy saying, wow, you're genuinely a good person. And that's not to brag. I feel like we should all genuinely be good people. It really doesn't take a lot of effort to just try to be a good person or try to be nice. And when you are that, I think you will be shocked on how many men will actually come to appreciate that, because unfortunately, a lot of women gather the reputation for being unkind or selfish or very snappy or very bossy. So this is not being passive and being a doormat, right? But this has something to do with your overall personality and just being like a nice nice person, because if a man feels like, oh wow, she's a nice person, she is easy to get along with, and even when she does disagree with me, she says it in a tactful way and she's not like cussing me out and throwing things at my head, then it makes him more comfortable to want to pursue a relationship with you, because they know that if they're in a relationship with you, it's not going to be always a headache or you nagging. That's just like the Bible says that a nagging wife is like a dripping faucet. That's because sometimes we could just be very reckless with our mouths. So it's like, get rid of that, and having a good temperament, a good tone, self-control, even when you're upset, and not just lashing out and going crazy. That is something that is very attractive to men. All right, guys. So I definitely hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you guys another day, another time. Bye-bye. Not ready for the show to end? It doesn't have to. You can head over to my site where you can read hundreds of articles. And also you can feel free to shop my store where I have all of my products for sale. And last but not least, for even more video content, feel free to visit my YouTube channel where I talk about a wide array of content. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, stay blessed.